In a Kunigami village on the northern tip of Okinawa, a 99-year-old grandmother named Uchida-san walked out to her vegetable garden at sunrise. She squeezed shikuwasa citrus over a piece of grilled mackerel, ate a small bowl of handama greens simmered in bonito stock, and drank a cup of jasmine-scented sanpincha. Then she walked half a mile up the mountain road to weed her potato beds. Most American 99-year-olds are eating pureed hospital rice at the same hour and are not walking to weed anything. In the Ryukyu Kingdom and the mountain villages of Shinshu, roughly the same centuries produced roughly the same result. Two utterly different landscapes, landlocked mountains and subtropical islands, produced Japan's two longevity capitals, and they did it by eating 25 specific foods that most Western seniors have never once tasted. Number 17 comes from a coastline that was erased in a single afternoon in 2011. Number 1 contains a molecule so distinctive that Japanese researchers named a whole class of citrus flavonoid after it. Here they are, 25 Japanese foods that keep seniors young. Countdown starts now. Number 25, Sonkizuke, the salt-free mountain pickle of Kiso Valley in Nagano. 400 years ago, salt cost too much in the Kiso Mountains to spare a spoonful for pickling. So the women of Otaki village invented a method that used none at all. They briefly wash red turnip leaves in 60-degree water, layer them with dried sunki from the previous year as a starter culture, and let wild lactobacilli do the rest. 2 weeks later, they have a sour, crunchy pickle that keeps 6 months of winter. A jar of authentic Otaki sunki sells today at Nagano markets for about 1,200 yen, close to $8. Tokyo University of Agriculture researchers, led by Endo, published a 2008 study isolating 4 novel lactobacillus species from sunki that do not exist anywhere else on Earth. The last certified sunki teachers in Kiso train about 15 students each November. There are 4 of them. The youngest is 68. Number 24, Nozawana Zuke, the winter pickle of Nagano's Nozawa village. In 1756, the chief priest of Kenmeiji Temple traveled to Kyoto and brought back seeds of a tenoji turnip. He planted them in his mountain village, but the roots refused to develop in the cold, high altitude. Only the leaves grew tall and tender, some almost a meter long. The villagers pickled them, and a new food was born. Families still gather in early November after the first frost, wash the meter-long greens, layer them into wooden buckets with salt and shochu, and ferment for 1 to 2 months. A 5-kilogram bundle of Nozawa Hanzuke sells today for around 3,000 yen, close to $20. In 1983, Nagano Prefecture designated Nozawana Zuke as its first selected intangible folk cultural property. The village population today stands at roughly 3,000. Fewer of those households still pickle their own greens every winter. Number 23, Oyaki, the stuffed dumpling of northern Nagano. Traces of kneaded and baked coarse grain flour have been found at a Jomon period archaeological site in Ogawa village, which means someone was doing something very much like oyaki here 4,000 years ago. Rice would not grow in these mountains, so village households ground wheat and buckwheat into flour, wrapped seasonal fillings inside a thin dough round, eggplant with miso, pumpkin, dried radish, nozawana pickle, mushrooms, and cooked them in the ashes of the irori hearth. A fresh, hearth-grilled oyaki at Yakimochiya, an old thatched roof farmhouse between Nagano City and Hakuba, sells for about 250 yen, roughly $1.70. Only 2 named workshops in Nagano still cook oyaki over open irori coals in the pre-modern way. Ogawa Nosho, established in 1986, has slowed the disappearance. It has not stopped it. Number 22, Yamagata's dashi. Not the fish and kelp stock most people mean when they say the word. In Yamagata Prefecture, dashi means something else entirely. It is a chopped vegetable relish of cucumber, eggplant, Myoga, ginger buds, shiso leaves, green chili, and a shred of natto kombu, seasoned with soy sauce and rice vinegar. Farmers invented it as a way to eat piles of summer vegetables while the heat was still climbing. A refrigerated pack of Yamagata dashi at a Sendai supermarket runs around 400 yen, close to $2.70. Every household in Yamagata has its own recipe, passed from mother to daughter without measurement. You spoon it over cold tofu, cold soba noodles, or plain rice. You can make it in your own kitchen this weekend with 6 ingredients and a knife. Farmers over 90 in Yamagata are still eating it every summer. Number 21, Konnyaku, the jelly-like block cut from the corm of the konjac plant. Japanese Buddhist monks brought konjac from China in the 6th century as a medicinal food. In its finished form, konnyaku is roughly 97% water, high in glucomannan fiber, and contains almost no calories. Japanese seniors have called it the broom of the stomach for centuries. The glucomannan sweeps waste through the intestine, feeds beneficial bacteria, and helps stabilize blood sugar. A block of konnyaku at a Tokyo supermarket costs about 100 yen, roughly 70 cents. At Rishakuji Temple in Yamagata, tama konnyaku, small round balls of konnyaku on skewers, has been sold to pilgrims for centuries, still 100 yen a stick. The traditional artisans who process raw konjac corms by hand, without industrial machines, have shrunk to fewer than 30 workshops in Japan. Number 20, Fu, the wheat gluten of Kyoto. In the Nara period, 1200 years ago, Zen Buddhist monks, forbidden from meat, needed a protein food. They washed wheat dough with running water until only the sticky gluten remained, then steamed and dried it. Fu became the second pillar of Buddhist monastic protein next to tofu. Kyoto's low mineral aquifer water made the best fu in Japan. Hanbei Fu, established in the 17th century, is the oldest continuously operating fu maker in Japan, more than 300 years old. It still supplies the wheat gluten used at Mampukuji, Tofukuji, and Kenninji, 3 of Kyoto's most important Zen temples. 100 grams of dried fu contains 28 grams of protein and only 369 calories. A pack of nama-fu at Kyoto's Nishiki Market runs 500 yen, close to $3.50. There is a street in central Kyoto still called Fu Road. The few shops that once lined it now barely fill the fingers of one hand. Number 19, yuba, the delicate skin that forms on the surface of heated soy milk. In Kyoto, where the aquifer water carries barely any minerals, yuba tastes almost sweet on its own. A monk skims the film off a shallow pot, hangs it, and lets it dry. It is nearly pure soy protein. Kyoto's oldest yuba houses still run 19th century wells beside the counter, drawing the same water their great-grandfathers used. Senmaruya, considered a newcomer in Kyoto because it has been operating for less than 200 years, is one of them. A single sheet of fresh nama yuba at a Kyoto specialty shop costs around 600 yen, close to $4. In Manhattan, a supplement company sells 3 tablespoons of soy protein isolate powder for $22 a canister. Kyoto kept the delicate protein film that forms on top of the pot. American food companies extracted whey and sold it in a plastic tub next to the pre-workout section. Number 18, hijiki, the brown seaweed traditionally simmered with sliced carrot and thin sheets of aborage tofu. In Japan, September 15th is Respect for the Aged Day, a national holiday. September 15th is also, by deliberate coincidence, Hijiki Day. Japanese seniors have believed for generations that eating hijiki lengthens life. The average Japanese eats between 4 and 5 kilograms of seaweed per year, more per capita than any other nation on earth. The average American eats close to none. Hijiki no nemono, the classic simmered dish, appears on Japanese lunch trays, school menus, and hospital meal plans. A 100-yen pack of dried hijiki produces enough for a family of 4, close to 70 cents at current exchange. Japan named a day after the food that keeps its elders strong. The American holiday closest to that thought is called National Cheeseburger Day. Both fall in September. Only one of them extends life. Number 17. Wakame, the sea plant that anchors Japan's daily bowl of soup. Here is where the list stops feeling like nostalgia and starts feeling like consequence. The next food is harvested from a coastline that was erased in a single afternoon in 2011. What survived is the reason Japan still eats seaweed at breakfast. The average age of the people harvesting it has climbed past 65. Nearly 70% of Japan's wakame is harvested from the Sanriku coast, along Iwate and Miyagi prefectures in northern Tohoku. On March 11, 2011, the Great East Japan earthquake and the tsunami that followed erased almost the entire Sanriku coastline in a single afternoon. Fishing boats, drying racks, family homes, all of it. What survived was rebuilt by families in their 60s and 70s. Wakame farming requires cold seas, patience, and hands that have done it before. A pack of dried Sanriku wakame costs about 500 yen, close to $3.50, at a Tokyo supermarket. The average age of Sanriku wakame harvesters today has climbed past 65. The number of family operations along the coast has fallen to a fraction of pre-tsunami levels. What Japanese seniors will eat at breakfast tomorrow was raked out of the Pacific by hands that are older than most Americans' grandparents. Number 16, jaibuni, the duck stew that anchors the samurai cuisine of Kanazawa. In the Edo period, the Kaga domain under the Maeda clan developed a slow stew of duck or chicken dredged in wheat flour, gently simmered in dashi with soy and mirin, and finished with a small dab of wasabi. The flour thickens the broth naturally and coats the meat in a silky glaze. It is served in a shallow lacquer bowl called a jibu-wan. Ryotei Tsubajin in Kanazawa has been operating for more than 270 years and is considered the oldest ryotei in the city. A course menu jibuni at Tsubajin runs about 3,500 yen, close to $23. In December of 2025, Kaga cuisine was officially designated a National Intangible Cultural Property of Japan. Only one Japanese cuisine had ever received that designation before it, Kyoto's. Number 15, amazake, the fermented rice koji drink that Japanese elders have relied on to restore strength since well before the Edo period. Amazake is made from rice inoculated with koji mold, Aspergillus oryzae, and left overnight to sweeten. The koji mold breaks the rice starch into glucose and amino acids. In summer heat, mothers gave a chilled cup of amazake to field workers as a restorative. Japanese medical writers of the Edo period called it the drinkable intravenous drip. A bottle of amazake at a Kyoto konbini costs about 250 yen, close to $1.70. A pack of dry rice koji to make it at home runs 500 yen, $3.50. You can produce a 2-quart batch in a rice cooker on the keep warm setting overnight. You will have finished it before breakfast. Grandmothers over 90 in Kagoshima still drink a cup every morning at 7. Now we cross out of the mountains and back onto the sea. The next 11 foods come from a place where women outlive American men by 9.5 years, and where the phrase senior center does not exist. Number 14 is the food Japanese doctors prescribe to elders recovering from illness. Number 14, yamaimo, the grated mountain yam. Grate, a whole yamaimo tuber over hot rice, and you have tororo gohan, one of the oldest survival foods on record in Japan. The mountain yam is loaded with diastase, which helps digest starches, and mucin, the same viscous protein family that lines the stomach. Japanese medical tradition prescribed grated yamaimo for elders recovering from illness, for women after childbirth, and for men after long field work. A single yamaimo tuber at a Tokyo supermarket costs about 400 yen, close to $2.70. You grate it, add a little dashi, and a splash of soy sauce, and pour it over hot rice. The whole meal takes 6 minutes. Grandmothers in the mountain villages of Shizuoka have been eating this for lunch for 80-something years and still remember what year they were married. Number 13. Renkon, lotus root. It has been grown in Iwakuni, Saga, and Kasumigaura since the Kamakura period, roughly 800 years ago. The visible cross-section shows a ring of clean holes, which in Japanese tradition symbolizes clear sight into the future. Renkon is high in vitamin C and dietary fiber and low in calories. It is simmered in chikuzeni, fried in tempura, or thinly sliced and preserved in vinegar for New Year celebrations. A whole fresh renkon at a Nagoya market costs around 500 yen, roughly $3.50. In the lakeside villages of Ibaraki that supply most of Japan's commercial renkon, farming families fed themselves through winters when nothing else grew above the frost line. Renkon starch kept in the mud below the lake, waiting to be harvested. It fed elders, it fed children, it is still feeding both. Number 12. Kanten, the transparent gel made from tengusa seaweed. It was invented by accident in Kyoto in the 1650s when an innkeeper set out leftover tokoroten gel overnight, discovered it had frozen and dehydrated by morning, and realized the freeze-dried block could be reconstituted at will. Kanten is close to 0 calories. It contains almost no digestible material and yet delivers meaningful dietary fiber. Japanese elders eat it in summer with a splash of kuromitsu, black sugar syrup, or in savory, clear soups. A 100-gram packet of dried Kanten flakes at a Kyoto grocery costs about 300 yen, close to $2. Grandmothers in Nagano's Suwa region have been making Kanten in the winter cold for 400 years. The traditional freeze-drying process still runs each January in the same fields, using nothing more than the mountain air. Number 11. Sanpin Cha, the jasmine-scented green tea of Okinawa. When Ryukyu Kingdom traders brought the tea from Fujian centuries ago, they adapted it to the subtropical climate of the islands. Sanpin Cha combines catechin antioxidants from green tea with aromatic compounds from jasmine flowers. In Okinawan grocery stores, Sanpin Cha outsells sencha by a wide margin. It is the default beverage. A hot cup of it appears on every table in every household in Naha at every meal, morning through evening. A 100-bag box of Sanpin Cha at an Okinawan supermarket costs about 300 yen, roughly $2. Okinawan grandmothers over 90 drink between 4 and 6 cups a day. Okinawa kept the flower in the cup. American seniors get a Lipton bag and a warning from the cardiologist about too much caffeine. Number 10. Kokuto, the unrefined black sugar of Okinawa's outer islands. The Ryukyu Kingdom grew sugar cane on Yoron, Kikaijima, and Iheya, and the villagers pressed and boiled the juice down to a dense, dark, crystalline block. Kokuto is not filtered. It contains all the minerals of the original sugar cane, including potassium, calcium, iron, and magnesium. A 100-gram block of authentic Okinawan Kokuto sells today for about 400 yen, close to $2.70. In the field labor days of the Ryukyu Kingdom, a single lump of Kokuto in the mouth of a woman working a sugarcane row would carry her through until the sun crossed the ridgeline. It was breakfast, snack, and afternoon energy in one piece. It fed workers who did not know what a supplement bar was. It fed elders who did not know what a nursing home was. Here is what the top 9 on this list do. Number 3 is a plant that grows a new leaf every night. Number 1 contains a compound so unusual that Japanese researchers named a whole new class of citrus flavonoid after its molecule. Both are still being eaten daily by grandmothers who watched the American occupation arrive in 1945 and are still driving to the market in 2026. Number 9. Shima Rakio, the pungent little shallots native to Okinawa. Smaller and sharper than mainland Japanese rakio, they are pickled in salt or vinegar and served alongside awamori, the local rice spirit, and grilled meats. Shima Rakyo contains allicin, the sulfur compound found in garlic, and quercetin, the same flavonoid in red onion. A single serving jar of pickled Shima Rakyo at a Naha supermarket costs about 350 yen, close to $2.50. In Okinawan households, families have pickled their own Rakyo from garden bulbs for as long as there have been gardens. You can do it too. Buy a jar of small shallots, a bottle of rice vinegar, and a little salt. A week later, you have Shima Rakyo. Okinawan grandfathers over 90 eat 5 of them with dinner and are still driving to the fish market at 7 in the morning. Number 8. Beni Imo, the purple sweet potato of northern Okinawa. During the Ryukyu Kingdom's chronic peasant famines, Beni Imo carried entire villages through years when the rice harvest failed. It grew in poor volcanic soil, needed almost no attention, and could be roasted whole in ashes or steamed until soft enough for a toothless elder to eat. The deep purple flesh contains anthocyanins, the same antioxidant class found in blueberries, plus fiber and vitamin A. Yomitan village on Okinawa's central west coast is considered the heartland of traditional Beni Imo cultivation. A kilogram of Yomitan Beni Imo at Naha's public market costs about 600 yen, close to $4. Fewer than 100 farms today still grow the heritage cultivars, the original small fruited varieties that fed the peasants. Industrial hybrids have replaced them almost everywhere else. The grandmothers who remember eating the old ones for supper as children are in their 90s now. Number 7. Handama, the Okinawan spinach with dark purple undersides to its green leaves. The leaves are simmered in bonito stock, tossed in miso soup, or eaten raw in salad. Handama contains anthocyanins in the purple pigment plus iron, calcium, and fiber. Every traditional Okinawan household kept a small handama patch in the yard for the same reason mainland households kept mizuna. It grew fast, replaced itself, and could be picked morning by morning as needed. Kayo Kazumi's Yonner Cooking School in Naha still teaches the traditional handama preparation to visitors who want to understand what Okinawan longevity actually tasted like on a Wednesday afternoon in 1955. A bunch of fresh handama at Naha's public market costs about 200 yen, roughly $1.40. You can grow it in a pot outside your kitchen door. Okinawan grandmothers picked it before breakfast and were done cooking it by 7. Number 6. Umibudo, the sea grapes of Okinawa. Nearly 100% of the world's commercial umibudo comes from the waters of Okinawa. Ona Village, on the western coast of the main island, is the single largest producer. The tiny green spheres pop between the teeth like caviar and release a wash of saltwater minerals. They contain fucoidan, a polysaccharide under active research for anti-inflammatory and immune effects. A single serving of umibudo in a Naha izakaya costs about 800 yen, close to $5.50. Ona Village umibudo farmers work 30-day cultivation cycles in shallow coastal tanks, and the average age of the working farmers has climbed past 65. The children of these farmers moved to Naha and Tokyo. Fewer than a dozen family operations still supply the traditional restaurants. When these families retire, umibudo will still exist, but it will be industrial. Number 5. Jimami tofu, the peanut tofu of the Ryukyu court. Jimami translates to peanut in the Okinawan language. The dish is made by soaking raw peanuts, straining the peanut milk, thickening it with sweet potato starch, and setting it into silky, sticky cubes. The finished tofu is served chilled with a spoonful of sweet soy sauce. It is a delicate food, easy for elder mouths that no longer chew well. It has been served in Ryukyu households since the kingdom era. A single-serving pack of authentic Jimami tofu at Naha's public market costs about 400 yen, close to $2.70. In 1970, dozens of Jimami tofu makers operated small shops around the Naha public market. Today, fewer than 15 traditional producers remain. The others closed when the elders who ran them died, and the children did not want the shop. Number 4. Tofuyo, the fermented tofu aged in awamori and red monascus yeast. Tofuyo is a Ryukyu court dish that mainland Japan never developed. It is made by pressing shima tofu, the firm Okinawan tofu, and aging it for 6 months minimum in a combination of rice koji, red yeast, and awamori. The finished tofuyo has the intense, creamy pungency of a fine European cheese. In Kintown, on Okinawa's east coast, Tatsu no Kura ages its tofuyo 30 meters deep inside a natural limestone cave where the temperature holds steady at 18 degrees Celsius year-round. It is the only place on Earth where tofuyo is aged in a natural cave. About 100 pieces of tofuyo mature in a single barrel. More than 400 barrels are used a year. A glass jar of 8 cubes retails at Ginza department stores for 2,000 yen, close to $14. When the cave aging ends, tofuyo will still exist. But not the tofuyo that made a Ryukyu queen live to 93. Here is what the top 3 foods on this list do. They keep an 89-year-old woman from Motobu still climbing the mountain road to her vegetable garden. They keep a 94-year-old Nakijin man still repairing his own fishing boat. And the last one contains a molecule that Japanese researchers have called the closest thing to a longevity drug that grows on a tree. Number 3. Rafute, the soft-simmered pork belly of the Ryukyu court. It was part of Utuimuchi cuisine, the formal cuisine served in the royal court at Shuri and in the noble houses of Naha. The pork belly is simmered for hours in bonito stock, awamori, brown sugar, and soy sauce. By the time it reaches the table, the meat has broken down to the point where an elder with no teeth can cut it with the pressure of chopsticks alone. Traditional rafute uses agu, Okinawa's native black pig, which contains meaningfully less saturated fat than modern commercial pork breeds. A serving of authentic rafute at a Naha ryote costs about 2,000 yen, close to $14. Okinawa slow-simmered the pork belly until a grandmother with no teeth could eat it as her daily protein. American nursing homes puree beef in a food processor and label the result a soft diet. Number 2, ashitaba, tomorrow's leaf. It grows on the volcanic soil of Hachijo Island in the Izu chain south of Tokyo. Its name means tomorrow leaf because if you pluck a leaf today, a new one is out by sunrise. In the Edo period, the islanders of Hachijo were famous for their longevity and attributed it to daily consumption of ashitaba. The yellow sap that oozes from a cut stem contains a family of chalcones, including a compound called dimethoxychalcone. A 2019 paper in Nature Communications documented that this compound promotes autophagy-dependent longevity in yeast, worms, and flies, and in cultured human cells. A 100-gram bag of dried ashitaba leaves for tea at a Tokyo herbal shop costs about 1,200 yen, close to $8. Fewer than 200 dedicated growers today still cultivate ashitaba on Hachijo Island. When they retire, ashitaba moves to a Chinese pharmaceutical field. The island loses its name. Food. Number 1. Shikuwasa, the longevity citrus of northern Okinawa. In the Ryukyu language, the name means eat and survive. It grows wild in the Yanbaru forests of the Kunigami district on Okinawa's northern tip and has been part of the indigenous diet since time immemorial. The peel of a shikuwasa contains no biotin, a polymethoxylated flavone, at concentrations up to 12 times higher than any other citrus fruit on Earth. No biotin has been studied for anti-inflammatory, cardiovascular, and cognitive support effects. Okinawa produces roughly 3,000 tons of shikuwasa each year. Traditional Okinawan households squeeze it over grilled fish, into soy sauce, over sashimi, into hot tea, and into cold water. A bottle of 100% shikuwasa juice at a Naha market costs about 800 yen, close to $5.50. In the United States, a cardiologist writes a script for a Nobulatin capsule containing the same molecule, and the pharmacy charges close to $40 a month. Kunigami kept the tree. Manhattan kept the prescription pad. Only one of them raised a woman to 100. As of September of 2025, Japan officially registered 99,763 centenarians. The prefecture with the highest ratio at 168.6 per 100,000 people is Shimai on the Sea of Japan coast. That is roughly 3.5 times the American national ratio. Nagano still leads for men. Okinawa still leads in absolute number of women over 100. These numbers are not luck. They are what happens when a country spends 400 years figuring out what to eat and does not stop. Pick one. Number 21, Konnyaku, is at every Asian grocery. Number 15, amazake, can be made in your rice cooker overnight. Number 1, shikuwasa juice, ships to the United States and costs a fraction of what the pharmacy charges for the same molecule inside. Kunigami kept the tree and the pot and the pickle jar. Manhattan built the prescription pad and the meal delivery app. One country kept a woman upright at 99, the other is still trying.